We are live. Happy Valentine's Day, Marketing Qualified Rundown.
I totally forgot again, Valentine's Day.
We love talking about marketing. It's in the air.
It's love is in the air. I was actually really happy this morning. I know I said yesterday I don't give a shit about Valentine's, and I don't. But then my nanny had spent some time with my son putting together these little Valentine's cards, and it's pretty cute. Obviously, he didn't do much of it. He put his hand on in red color.
Well, in the spirit of Saint Valentine, we're giving back. We're giving some news about best practices and writer's block. And it's not ChatGPT. It's not what you might think. So it's been a few weeks since Best Practice Nick and Miss Sweetest Fish have been graced the video of LinkedIn, but we're back. We're excited.
It has been weeks.
I know, weeks. Like we got the stream of people saying they missed us, so we're back.
We're here. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So let's jump right into the first topic, which is the problem with best practices, which I actually thought this was timely because best practices, we were doing marketing qualified rundowns every week and then we skipped them. And so, when you think about marketing best practices, I think the thing that pops in my mind really is consistency. It's consistency and also understanding, does it work or does it not work? And I think what was the example in the newsletter was hilarious, right? It's like the things that we become so commonplace, like gated content or anything else, like you have to understand when it's time to adjust best practices, right?
I think that example is probably the best possible example here because I still stumble upon gated assets. And if you are gating your assets, you are following a best practice that is no longer a best practice.
Well, I wouldn't say. I think it depends. I think it.
Yeah. Let's talk more.
I think it depends because I think best practice. So in this scenario, and this is right. This is the crux of the matter. It sometimes best practices work for a certain period of time, and sometimes they don't. I think for this example, for gated content, it works in some environments when you don't necessarily have the emails. I think what the most hilarious thing to me is when you email somebody and you task them for gated content, because it makes no sense, right? Like you email them, you have their contact information, but yet you still ask them to fill out information to download the content. That's when the best practice to me makes no sense anymore.
Well, I agree with that one, but I still think in general, and I'm going to hold very strong on this, that nothing should be gated. Literally nothing should be gated. You should just put value out there so people will freely and openly come back to you. You don't have to shove a nurture email constantly in their face. They'll come back to you if you just give them good stuff without asking for anything in return.
Yeah, I think the evolution of a best practice is it used to be volume of content. And now I think the best practice is quality of content.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's the big shift in where it used to be, you could generate dozens and dozens and dozens of things. It's like, hey, I'd much rather have a really awesome case study or really just an ebook, something that really speaks to me. I'd have one or two of those versus 20. Like just make it relevant to me.
So that was the good thing, the message that I took away from the newsletter on this story, that the best practice, like don't try to copy what always been done, but also the why. So gated content, again, the why 10, 20 years ago was still to give value, right? To provide an asset, information, educate. That's still there.
That's still there.
That's still the purpose of it when you put something together. So focus on that. And then you just need to tweak how you're actually putting it out there.
Yeah. So the other best practice, which is obviously funny because we're on LinkedIn, I think the other best practice is also a number of emails for nurturers, but it depends on who you ask and depends on what research report you look at. You should post once a week, twice a week, multiple times a day. Like it depends on who you talk to and what the true best practice is. And I think to your point, best practice is what works for you. Like don't fall into the fold of like, it has to be this. Fall into the fold of like, this is actually working for my audience that I'm talking to.
Yeah, and it's the same thing there, quality over quantity, right? Just because someone is telling you that you should post multiple times a day and comment on others, no, just quality over quantity. If you don't have any good to say, like if you could look at something that you're putting out there, like what's the point? What am I trying to get across with this? If you can't even answer that, then don't hit send.
Yeah, and I think a good test for anybody that's in marketing or anybody that looks at things like LinkedIn or emails, think about what do you like? What do you look at? And what catches your attention? I mean, I think of my feed, the people I engage with are people that are truly putting out good content, interesting
Mhm.
content, right? That are and they may be doing it multiple times a day, and I may be following them, but that's because they've become relevant and they want to listen to it. So I think relevancy and quality are probably
Mhm.
the two biggest things when you think of best practices right now.
There is something to say about the consistency part of that too. I don't think like if you are trying to whatever your purpose and objective with LinkedIn as an example is, you can't just like say, "Oh, I only had something good to say once a month," and think that that's going to work. That's not going to work either. There has to be
Yeah,
some more in your face kind of like reminder that you're there.
yeah, and I think that's also I mean, the best practice also has to work with the medium that you're working in.
Mhm.
How LinkedIn's algorithms work versus Facebook's versus Instagram versus TikTok versus YouTube, they're all different. And depending on what you want, if you could have the best content in the world, it's like build it and they will come. But you're right. You will probably miss people because you haven't been out there with enough frequency for it to get into the feeds. So you had amazing content, but nobody saw it,
Mhm.
right? So I think it's tough. That's why marketing is hard.
Yeah, marketing is hard and it's constantly changing. That's why the best practices, nothing should be called best practices, really, because there's no such thing. And it also depends on your industry, your objective, your market. There's so many other valuables that
Yeah.
adds a
I
layer.
think I think the best practice that will not go out of style is produce good shit. That will not go out of style. Produce good shit, do good shit. Like then that's a good best practice to follow no matter what. And then how you execute it and go to market, that will change as the world changes.
Can we also just a little bit mention the cold email thing that what used to work in the past with the tags of hi first name, company. Oh God, so embarrassing when you didn't have a first name or their own company name.
Yeah,
But now people know no one is putting your name
yeah.
there.
It's evolving and I think to some extent AI has helped for this to be a little for those people who weren't maybe as creative. It does allow you to try to mix it up and try to make it look more like a personable email versus hi. I mean, we get the running joke, right? We get emails all the time to Trey, which I'm not sure even how
I
that works,
still
but like
don't know who is
no, but
trying.
we get hundreds and hundreds of emails to Trey to our business account, and I don't know who Trey
Have
is.
we ever had a tray here?
No,
No.
never, never, never. So, but somewhere in the world of cold email, we got associated with Trey, and he is relentless.
Yeah. So cold email, like, so what is working now? It's not just personalization as far as your name and your industry. Like you need to actually know the problem. That is
Yeah,
how you're personal.
yeah,
Like, what's the pain?
yeah. Understand what the real problem is, not just don't guess. No,
Well, it's a good topic.
that was a great topic.
I feel like we
We
need
can
to
talk
come
a long
back to
time
this
about that.
later on. This is evolving
Okay,
constantly.
I've actually used this trick. So the trick of that makes when you get writer's block. So you and I both like to write.
Hmm.
We probably write more than most people, and everybody's like, "Oh, just go to ChatGPT." That's fine. That does work, but the couple tricks are if you can't nail a headline, right? Headline something about how this product saves time, as an example. And I've actually done that where I'll write trying to just literally put a placeholder in, and I'll come back to it. And then whether it be subject lines, content in the middle of the blog or anything, just if I don't know what it is, I'll just put insert something. My word is I just insert something catchy here. That's what I usually
Hmm.
do. But I
I
think
think
it's okay to like not know.
it sounds so simple to do this, but I actually, from personal experience, I've had to practice this because
Mm,
I would get so stuck on something that I can't find the words, can't find what I'm saying or trying to say, and you just spend hours there instead of just doing what you're just saying, like just add a placeholder, come back to this later. But it takes some skill to acknowledge that. And it's a little humbleness. Like you don't know the answer right now. And that's okay. Yeah. Just put a placeholder and move on and go back to it later.
And I think the other trick, even with AI, is it's a good way. If you do generate something with AI, walk away. When you come back and you reread it, you'll probably find that like, that doesn't sound like I really want it to sound, or it sounds too much like everybody else. So, I mean, I think the trick is also, just to your point, is humility. Just understand that it's not going to be perfect on round one.
Yeah. And don't try to write in the afternoon because your brain is already tired. In the morning. Morning is better. Come back to it later.
Yeah. It's definitely know when the right time of day for you is, and focus on that. So, all right. So that is the trick, placeholder trick for writer's block and best practices. And that's all we got today. Oh, wait. We do have.
Yes. Yeah. I did remember to put it in. Wow.
This cracked me up. I mean,
That's
it's so true. This is why salespeople, finance people hate marketing people, because it depends.
Yes, it depends. Oh boy.
All right.
Okay.
Wow. Today it went by quick.
That went by quick. It feels good. We need to. Okay. Shame on us for not being more consistent on this. We will be back again. I hope, fingers crossed, next week. Until then, make sure you subscribe, since we're not here apparently to present every week. marketingqualified.co, not com, co. And since we haven't said this in a while, there's also Partner Science. Keep releasing episodes. I can't believe it's 27 issues out already. Yeah. The last one kind of dug into the Super Bowl $7 million 30-second ad and how you can apply that to partnerships. Yeah,
it's take a look. It's a lot of good scientific insight to help your partnerships. So
yes.
All right, everybody have a great Valentine's Day. Again, we love marketing, and we will see you next time.
Sounds good.